Hey, in this episode, we find out who Max's boy crush is.
The reason they find you unattractive is the very reason I find you attractive.
All right, so for those of you who really enjoy watching far too good-looking men on screen, I think you might be.
Here we are.
And yeah, other than us, I think you might be interested in the movie that we're going to be watching the trailer for and review today.
So we are going to check out the latest from Guy Ritchie, the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. If syllables lead to box office revenue, he's got it made.
Yeah. And that sounds a lot like just every government in America and in the world, much less America today.
I know. Yeah, right. It's such a dignified warfare in this battle.
Yeah. Henry Cavill is who I'm referencing, Superman himself. Sherlock Holmes, which I think he was an awesome Sherlock Holmes. He's a total geek video game nerd, which is fun. Being a heterosexual male, I look at that guy and go, come on, that's just ridiculous. It's not fair. But he's a good actor, and Guy Ritchie's awesome. Usually a ton of fun with a lot of action, a lot of intrigue, a lot of layers to the story, a lot of very, engaging visuals. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do here. When was the last time Guy Ritchie released a movie? I haven't even checked that.
Well, here's the thing I was going to bring up is that he has not had a lot of hits lately. He has had some movies out. Guy Ritchie's The Covenant came out just last year. Also came out last year, Operation Fortune, Ruse de Guerre, Wrath of Man in 2021. So in 2019, The Gentleman. So he's had movies out that just haven't performed very well.
I mean, I'm looking at the box office. It's not like they've been bad. I mean, he 115 million for The Gentleman, 104 million for Wrath of Man, but not cheap movies to make. So
Exactly.
they probably didn't even break even, or they might have. He was the director and writer on Aladdin in 2019. Talk about a jump away from usual.
Yes.
But that one made a little over $1 billion. So that's they're doing okay. I'm wondering if he's getting back to kind of his cool old self.
Yeah, his style. Because he also adapted The Man from U.N.C.L.E. He did a King Arthur movie, which is getting away from the London street thugs,
right.
Like Snatch. Snatch is one of my favorite action movies. I thought that movie was so great. Made Jason Statham's career, and one of the most memorable and oddly cast Brad Pitt moments. I really love that movie. So I'd love to see him get back to that kind of that I don't know, that kind of lots of action, of course, but really crazy characters that are a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah. The interesting, I'll read the premise. I was going to comment before I read it, but I won't. I'll let everyone think for themselves. First, the British military recruits a small group of highly skilled soldiers to strike against German forces behind enemy lines during World War II. So at first, as I was reading that, I'm thinking, okay, recruit special group, highly skilled soldiers. Like we've seen, how many times we've seen this?
Right.
But then against German forces behind enemy lines during World War II. Now I'm kind of intrigued a little bit, because it's kind of like oh God, of course I'm forgetting the movie, that the big series that was out recently of like the kind of secret order of spies within the British government.
Yes, The Kingsman.
The Kingsman. It kind of felt like that. But then it's like, oh, okay.
And I was thinking Inglourious Bastards, by the way, before.
Yeah. And then looking at the movie poster, they're holding very weird, strange weapons. Like one of them is just smoking a pipe. So I have a feeling he's going to be making something pretty unique here.
Actually, just to point out, the guy who's smoking a pipe is lighting his pipe with a stick of dynamite that's spark is lit on it. The fuse is lit.
Okay. I have a sinking feeling we're going to be seeing a lot of cliches. So I hope Guy Ritchie is, and I'm assuming he is intelligent enough to realize when a cliche is there and if he's going to play with it, or if he's just going to dive right into it.
As somebody that is not, crazy for action movies in general, I actually do have high hopes for this one.
Yeah.
So let's see if the even the trailer can live up to that.
Right. Let's do it.
Gus March Phillips, I have a mission I want you to lead. Thank you, Sergeant.
What's the plan?
To neutralize the German U-boats in the North Atlantic.
Okay.
We're
Story.
losing.
Okay.
Hitler's not playing by the rules, so neither are we. We both know that I'm
not very popular with the administration.
Right.
The reason they find you unattractive is the very reason I find you attractive. If I'm to do this, I'll need my own team. You won't like them. They're all... mad. They'll need to be.
Suicide Squad.
This is an unsanctioned, unauthorized mission. If we fail, England will be condemned to a lifetime under the German boot.
And so I said, that is not a dog. That is my wife.
It's very good. You and your operation are reckless.
Abort this mission now.
Hello, can't hear you. Please do off.
Okay, it looks fun. The irony is I feel like I've seen it before, you know, but because it's based on a true story and they're taking a little bit of this new age, if that's the right way of saying it, approach to an old story, technically, that's an interesting angle.
Yeah, I think they had something big there by being able to say that this is based on a true story, the first ever special forces operation.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's, you know, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. Were these people really that weird?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. I bet there are some stretches that they made. It was fun to see Henry Cavill acting in a way that he has not usually in all the other roles that I've seen him in. He's usually a pretty straight guy, but he's kind of this weird, wild, wacky dude, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see Isa Gonzalez in there from Baby Driver. I don't know. I'm excited to see what she'll bring to this. It looks like it's quite the vehicle to show her off as maybe a Jenna Ortega. Like, this is definitely a cool young actress that you want to cast in future things too.
Yeah, and with Bruckheimer behind it, of course. I mean, ironically, this is the first time I've even heard of this movie. So you got to wonder how much they're putting behind this in terms of a marketing spend. But with Bruckheimer behind it, pretty big cast, Guy Ritchie directing, you would think they have a big marketing budget. What's the date that it comes out?
That is coming out on April 19th.
Okay, so it is still technically pre-summer season. I don't even know if there is a summer season anymore because it just seems like they're throw anything you can into the movie theaters. But I don't know. Maybe it's a good sign that they're putting some bigger movies out early.
Well, the box office up until Dune 2 came out has just been abysmal, just because there wasn't anything around.
Yeah,
the only thing that was having success were movies that came out around the Christmas season that were hanging around.
Right.
So we're in a good time now with Bob Marley. One Love is out there providing some counter programming. There's a handful of different genres that are playing right now, and that's getting people back into theaters. And you got to keep giving them reason to come back to theaters. Get people into that habit of coming back.
This is the kind of movie that I feel would be a lot more fun to watch in a theater on a big screen with a lot of other people. Like The Omen, I don't need to go see that in the theater. It would probably be scarier.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, everybody, The Omen was the last one that we reviewed if you haven't watched that video yet. But there's something about an intimate space in your own little living room watching a really scary movie that can be just as scary as watching it in a movie theater. With this type of movie, it's more about the true experience of what's going on screen as opposed to what I'm feeling myself. You know, how connected are they going to really make me to this weird dude that sticks his tongue out before he kills Nazis? Like,
there was something I was going to say, which is even in the trailer, the violence was brutal. Like, and at first I thought, oh man, that's maybe a little too over the top. But then I thought, actually, it's probably more honest. Not, don't gloss it up and make it, oh, shooty, bang, bang fun. It's like, oh, that guy just got stabbed in the neck. That was mean to do. That would hurt a lot. So oddly enough, to make it more raw, to make it more real is one more shocking, which can be over the top, but also it's almost more responsible to do, to not sugarcoat the violence.
I mean, World War II was obviously, what do you have to say other than it was just awful?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm intrigued because it's based on a true story. That's pretty much the only reason. If it wasn't, I'd be like,
That is a big one. We always talk about the comps. There's so many comps that came up already, but like, okay, I got to put my crew together, which we're always putting a crew together.
right.
But they're bad guys. Well, we just saw that with Suicide Squad a couple times over.
Right.
Also, it made me think of the Avengers. Like, okay, there's the bow and arrow dude, and there's
Right.
this, So
Yeah.
I guess if it's grounded a little bit, you're not watching a movie like this because it's grounded, though.
You're not, but at the same time, I think, like I said before we started the thing, how many cliches are there going to be? There were so many, but he didn't really lean into them. But the point what I was trying to make is that I think people are kind of tired of the Avengers Assemble kind of thing, and we want something that's a little bit more character focused.
And the great thing is, it's based on a true story, but beyond that, it's original. It's not a sequel to something. It's not based on a comic book. It's not adapted from this. It's other than the fact that it's based on historical events, and I'm sure embellished quite a bit. There is a lot of originality here, and I always love to see that in the theaters.
Yeah, that's true. Let us know what you think, everybody. Comment below as usual. We're going to have a lot more of these coming out soon. Just as we usually say with our Fantastic Story Society podcast, which I hope you can listen to. It's on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. We love suggestions, and maybe you become this amazing person that we want to interview on the Fantastic Story Society because you have some fantastic stories to share. But at the very least, comment and let us know what you want us to review, any upcoming movies anytime this year, if we can find a trailer for it, and we'll watch and make some comments.
All right. Thank you all for watching.
Thanks, everybody.